Morning, team. Morning, everyone. Hope you're doing good. We had a good overnight session. Quite a lot of chop overnight until it finally gave that bit of a pullback, which got gobbled up for that drive out. And we're now very, very close to breakout levels on the daily. So let's do what we always do. We're going to start with a top-down approach. We do have some FOC minutes today. I don't plan on being at the desk by the time those come out. Most eyes right now are going to be on Nvidia earnings, which are coming after the bell. And more than just the earnings, they are going to be looking at guidance. How are these tariffs going to affect Nvidia? What is priced in? How about this chip that they're no longer allowed to sell to China? What is the impact on that? All these things are going to matter. All right, so that's what the market might be waiting for. If we don't have a breakout today, that will be why they'll be waiting for that print. So just remind ourselves where we're at on the daily. Expanding wedge. Had the chance to come under and back test and fill some of this gap. We would have loved to see some follow through here yesterday. Didn't happen. So what did we play? Well, failed breakout, we play upside. Once we have a failed breakout of a range, what do we expect to happen? We expect to attack the other side of the range. This is basically like a dynamic spring for those of you who do Wyckoff. Wyckoff is normally sideways, failed breakout, sideways, upside and go. All right. Really, that's what you've got in an expanding wedge right now. So we're bullish. Okay, we're bullish upside. Key levels straight away off the daily would be a back test of that high. All right. Is that going to come today? Very unlikely right now, but it's worth marking out because that high coming in at sort of 230, 240 lines up with the 5-day moving average. If they did do a pullback today for any reason and they caught that, that would very much look like one of these and we'd expect upside. But right now, I'm expecting this market to just be in a hurry to move higher. Let's move into the hourlies. All right, and you can see here, this one key. This is what we got overnight. Just a slow, where's yesterday's close here? Closed here yesterday, overnight sideways, 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 started to pull down, push back in, rejecting that range from yesterday. Here's your leg lower, sweeping that low, protecting the anchored VWAP, and this was your buy. Now, we talked about this. This was all planned out for those in my room who were looking to play this move last night. Right here, all right? Pull back into the anchored VWAP, protect it, and then go upside. Exactly what we got. Pull back into the anchored VWAP, protect it, and go upside, right? That's where the buyers were hanging out. Remember, traps live underneath swing points. Okay, there's the bear trap. That's where the buyers wanted to buy for that move. There's a reason why we exploded upside, and you could have even just waited for a very simple trend break, couldn't you? So now what do we have? Well, we've broken out of the overnight range here. So now we have these sellers. We're hoping, right, that they're stuck and become buyers. Very, very simple. So any pullback into and around 480 today possibly gets absorbed for that move higher. Right, that's the first thing I'd be looking for. Can we find a lower time frame pattern down here if we flush it in the morning to do that? If we start letting go of 480s, it's possible that they want to rotate some of this imbalance here. All right, so maybe back into here, maybe all the way down to the overnight lows, and we look for the same thing there for back upside. All right, so 480 would be the first level, and I guess somewhere into like the low 400s would be the second level. If for some reason, okay, they want to be really nasty and cannot get that breakout and we get stuck under here, then at this point here, you have two options. This or the break retest for the move back down. That would be a scalp short back into the next level and the next level and so forth. All right, so that's what I'm looking for today. Ideally upside, off dips into 480. If 480 lets go, I'll be looking at the low 400s. If it's that this dip into sort of 480 has been there and happened already at 7 o'clock, and we're going to go straight upside, where are we going? We're looking left for these double tops, or really a triple top. 1, 2, 3. Remember, this guy here left this guy by a tick or two. All right, so you got tons of swing stops here. All right, I would say there is a chance for a breakout trade here. Right, if you're a breakout trader, these are daily and hourly levels. There is a chance for a buy stop here for a move up. Is it risky? Breakouts are always risky. What do you risk? Failure. you risk failure. But there is a chance here that we're building this to do here. Ideally, we get one of these, but it is possible that at this point here, it never comes in back checks and squeezes straight up. If there's enough liquidity up here, there's enough buyers waiting there for the breakout. If there's enough shorts who are stuck, who have their stops there, which become market buys, this will go straight upside. Okay, so that's the other thing I'm aware of. If we get up there and we don't pull back, or we do pull back and it's a failed breakout, something like this, we get that rotation back to 480 for a back check. So if we don't test 480 or 400 before we get up here, 560s, and we fail 560s, then we probably back check to make sure that these levels are firm. So just think about it like building a house, right? Foundations, we're here, held, we go up, we build the roof. If the roof's strong, okay, or the second floor is strong, let's say, we're gonna go up and build the third floor. If the third floor is strong, we're gonna go up and build the fourth floor. If the third floor needs repairing, we go back down to the second floor to pick up some more concrete and cement to come back up. So I think of it like that. All right, so we go up, we back test, we come back down. We go up, we back test, we come back down. We hold, we go back up. All right, so just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. You can see it very, very clear on the 30-minute. All right, super, super clear on this chart here. All right, so we're very bullish today. We're looking for buys. I want to join momentum. If momentum is not there today, however, all right, has this moved down and made it hard for you guys to see? That would be a shame. Hopefully you could all see that. Sorry about that, team. If momentum is not there for today and they're going to wait for NVIDIA, all right, if they're going to wait for NVIDIA earnings and they don't, price in an early move, I would not be surprised to see this. It's possible. Or this and this. Okay, this is not something I really want to see today, but it's possible. So I'm very, very aware of that as well. All right, team. Let's move into the low time frame just so you can see all the levels printed on there in case you need to repeat them. So ideally this holds, if not this holds, if not we get a back test all the way down here. Remember, we're gapping up, so we're looking for gap and go or a gap fill and go. If we fail to hold the gap, which is right here, all right, if we fail to hold that gap, we would be red on the day. That would be problematic. So really 480s, 560s, a last chance to hold would be the low 400s. That's what I'm looking at. Let's have a quick look at the mag, see what's going on with the mag and the VIX and everything else. Make sure you can see this nice and clear. All right. Apple, nice gap up. Coming into a little bit of supply here. Looking left. We spent a couple of sessions here. So there's your low from Friday, gaps up into Monday, gaps up into Tuesday, coming into some overhead resistance. If it breaks out of here, we're looking for a move to 206. Microsoft off to the races, gapping up and above key levels. All right, so Microsoft a bit more like NQ right now. Back test of this, if that holds, we go upside. Is there any overhead supply on Microsoft, or are these all-time highs? There is overhead supply. So it wants to get back up to all-time highs. That's what it wants to do. Amazon gapping up. You can see building liquidity. We got this same kind of thing. There's your head with a double bottom kind of move. There's liquidity, liquidity. And so just a break of those sort of 206, 207s should allow it to move to the next level, 208s, 210s, 212s, 214s. That's what it's trying to do. Goog. Same kind of story there. There's a move down. There's your double bottom. There's your right shoulder starting to grind up. It wants to get back up to this rotation here, 178 if possible. Meta, same story. You can see they all did the same thing. Break down, higher low or double bottom, push up, right shoulder, left shoulder, head. And it's looking for breakouts above the neckline now. NVIDIA, same story, breakdown, higher low, grind back up, looking for a breakout over 137. So what NVIDIA is trying to do. It's into supply at the moment. They all look pretty strong here so far. Tesla, I would say this, the only thing with Tesla is this move is very unlikely to be sustained like this. This is very, very, very steep, Right, these are big squeezes. Someone's got hurt here. Probably a lot of shorts down here at 340 in 25 points of pain right now. I would love to see the options data on that. I bet it's horrific. It puts are getting absolutely wrecked now. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some strike price up here at 400. It would not surprise me at all, given how that's moving right now. Let's go back to NQM. Oh, let's do the VIX quickly before we do that. How long we got left? We've got time. Let's move this to a 10-minute. Let's redo these levels for you guys. Okay. All right, you can see the VIX support there. Upside right here. The gap fill potential above it if it really wanted to get going. But if we start fading 19s and getting back into the sort of 17s and 18s, market's very, very bullish. If we start reclaiming, I'd say 1930, 1960 for that move into a back test of 20s and then 21s, then the market's probably going to struggle to move too much higher today. So I've got one eye on that VIX, as I always do. It is starting to base out. If you look at the VIX on like a 5-minute, think about it like a basketball. We're starting to base out. We're starting to taper. I'm just going to draw it out on my chart on the left so I've got it as well. Definitely starting to see some tapering there. So interested how that moves today. That's full screen now for you all. Get the flow zones back on. It'd be nice when we move out this range so we can clear up these charts a little bit. They just seem to be covered in lines right now. Okay, liquidity on the book. Let's have a quick look. It's a little bit at 480, as you would expect. There's some sellers up above. 505, 535, 550. Seeing if there's any huge order standing out. Not really. Not really a massive order anywhere. FOMC, there's no FOMC today. It's just FOMC minutes. Very, very different. They just released the minutes from the last meeting. Is there going to be something in there of importance? Maybe like they don't all agree on how many cuts that happened this year, but am I likely to be trading when FOMC minutes hits? Probably not. Let's have a look. All right. See who's in here this morning. Morning, Clint. John Dennis, Miguel, Gopher Hill, Jeff, Bruce, Aaron, Ken, Thumper, Christy, Julian, Brandon, Toby, Array, Glenn, Jesse, Marek, Ramus, Richard, Abe, Mike, Paul, Leron, DK, Lindell, Trentry, Bay Trader, The Chosen One, Bartholomew, ERF, Eva Steen, Ash, Vince, Coop, Alan, Peter, Gus, Arian, Brad, Greg. Good morning, everyone. Pearly, good morning. Anthony, good morning, good morning, good morning. DK, can I tell you when to roll over to June? Yeah, it will start to become very, very obvious. The volume will start to move to the new contract in that final week. It's always in the final week. Don't worry about anything until that point. No reason to roll over until we get way more volume on the new contract. And you'll probably get a suggestion from your broker or from your data provider. So Tradeovate, Ninja, even if you're trading on prop firms, they will probably suggest when to roll over for you, and they will also sometimes make you roll over. They'll force you to roll over. All right, so watching the ETFs, they are all sort of trying to base out over yesterday's highs. You're seeing the QQQ over yesterday's highs. You are seeing SPY come in, just actually filled the gap on the SPY in the pre-market and starting to reclaim yesterday's highs. ES is currently under yesterday's highs with a gap filled just underneath by a tick or two. So that's where we're at. Let's see if I can get this iPad working so I can see you all. Market open here in 10 seconds, folks. All right, so you've got the levels, you know what we're sort of looking for. Just remember, we're top side of the range. Need to be careful. Morning, Andrew. Morning, Aga. Here we go then. Here's market open. Most of the market opening about 0.25% up. Tesla basically flat. Here's the morning drive. Do they start selling this back down, or are they just going to let this straight through? Nvidia 1/3%, Meta 0.75%, Google's pretty much flat, Amazon 1/3%, Microsoft 1/3%, Apple just over 0.5%. Big morning drive into this supply area where we got stuck overnight. We have some sellers here, 520, 535, 550. That's where the sellers are right now. I would way prefer a morning dip if possible, and to see some form of buyers come in and firm up these levels rather than buying the overnight highs. Wouldn't really want to do that. If they go straight up, then it's going to be very hard, and we're going to have to wait for that breakout on the daily and weekly levels to join in and participate. Do not really want to get stuck buying high looking for the breakout. I need a pullback into a key area that gives me bullish sentiment, or a breakout on a daily level. So let's see. Here we go. Maybe down to 480s, maybe for a gap fill on ES and the spiders. And let's see if they hold this or sweep and reclaim, or if they need to go next level down for a gap fill on the QQQ, which will take us down to 60s. Just having a look at the liquidity on the book here, see who's participating and how. So holding 490s for now. It's previous day high. I want to see it come a little bit lower, ideally. Sweep everyone out. Has this still not printed the New York Open? It should be printing that session open. Rather annoying, that. I'm going to be honest. That is rather annoying. Why is it so hard for it to do it? This it here. This must be it. Okay, but it's not extending. Jeez. This code is having a nightmare. Let's get that in now. Right, hovering around that New York Open, we're still bullish. Ideally, I'd like to see a pullback before we do anything else, but market just sort of trading back and forwards in a fairly tight range so far, 31 points in the opening 3 minutes or so. I would really like to see it come down into 480 through that previous day high, maybe fill a bit of the gap, but it doesn't seem willing to do that right now. Lots of wicks down there into the previous day high of 490, which are being absorbed. This is the trade back into New York Open now. If they bid off this, there's a good chance that they're going to try and force a squeeze if they bid off this. Who knows what they're going to do, but there's a good chance they try and force a squeeze if they bid off this. Really, I want this to come to 480. It's a much easier trade if we go down to 480. There we go. There's trying to bid off it. You can see in front of the New York Open. Very jumpy here. Come on, come to 480. Don't just bid off it. They're holding New York Open, 505. Morning, Raphael. They're trying to build that liquidity for that move up right now. You can see it forming on the tape. You can see all of them forming. It's the hardest trade here if they're going to just hold and go high. But they did hold previous day high. I would much rather they cleaned up some of those levels down there. Like a small little sweep under 480. Maybe just like literally tag the lower time frame algo or VWAP and then reclaim it and go. That would be a much easier trade for an upside move. ES through its previous day high now. SPY held PDC in the pre-market and held pre-PDH on that opening flush. It wasn't really a flush, was it? That opening, just the opening print really. We barely moved. Can't really call it a flush. The target is up towards the 560s. And if we get above those 560s, you will get a daily breakout. A breakout based on higher time frames. So here we go. It's held the New York Open. It's starting to move upside now. That overnight high is at 38. It's absorbing everything so far. ES very close to that overnight high already. That overnight high on the ES would be 46s. Breakout of that. And you'd be looking for that upside move for 55s and then 92s. So ES lagging behind a little bit in terms of its positioning on daily right now. It was the weaker asset. Remember, it was making lower lows and lower highs when we were doing the megaphone pattern in the NQ. So back towards that New York Open again. You got a mixed bag here on the mag as well, just to make it even more tricky. All right, Tesla 0.25% down. Microsoft just gone red. Nvidia flirting red to green, green to red. They've not really settled their books yet. And we're not outside the opening 5-minute orb for those of you who play that. And we've got a little bit of time left until that 15-minute orb is set and 30-minute orb is set. Feels like every day there's a new prop firm emailing me at the moment. Honestly, it's crazy. Just checking. All right, watching ES, see if it holds PDH here. Building to go higher for sure. Here's the breakout attempt on the ES now. So does the NQ follow? Can it sustain a bid here on ES? There's 46s. So there's the breakout on the ES. Can it sustain a bid though above those overnight highs or pre-market highs, whatever you want to call them? SPY, the same thing. It's peaked above. Can it sustain a bid? NQ lagging, still not got through. So you got divergence there where ES and SPY have taken out pre-market. QQQ, NQ not yet done it. Tesla now 0.40% down. Nvidia battling at its close price from yesterday. Meta 1% up. Google 1% up. Amazon 0.60% up. Microsoft 0.14% up. Apple 0.70% up. So Tesla the weak one there so far. Let's see if they find bids and start to work together in tandem or not. VIX is breaking down underneath previous day low, so you would expect this to try and have the move upside. It's just where the buyers want to participate up here. Remember, we're not through daily levels. So if you're going to participate here as a buyer, you haven't broken out of that daily level yet. So 560 is where you're trying to get up to if you're participating up here. If we get through 560, there's probably a bigger move coming because that's where everyone's stops are right now. NQ desperate to go here. ES going now with strength. Here goes NQ. So we're going for those 560s now. If you're in this, you're looking for the move to 560s. Lots of sellers on the book here. 45, 50, 55, 60. Unsurprising. It is unsurprising that they're up here. You expect this to go now and take out that previous week high. Here we go. So in this now, looking for that move to 560s. Through 560s, I will be holding on if possible and potentially adding for that daily breakout. A previous week high here, 62s. We want to take these guys out. We've got like a triple top up here. We just want to rip this band-aid off all of this. This needs to just stop. We need to go straight through it. My account's not linking properly. Fantastic. Thanks, Ninja Trader. Always great when one of them doesn't work. Here we go. So there's your previous week high. Tagged, taken liquidity, and can we get a sustained bid now? Like I said, breakouts here are possible on a daily time frame at this point. The risk with breakouts always are what? A failed breakout. If you get a failed breakout, we go back inside the range. But really, looking at that daily, we shouldn't be failing a breakout here. We should be just trying to send it at this point, honestly. It's done so much damage. There's so much liquidity here. We failed to break out the bottom side of the range. You would expect them to try and run this higher at this point. The only thing that would stop that in my mind would be if Nvidia is, if there's like a panic in Nvidia before earnings and they're like, hey, let's just trim these profits. But really, you'd like to see this just move higher aggressively. We just have to see. Maybe a back test of 38s if they hold around 38s. If this is a take of liquidity and back inside the range, this will make the rest of the day awful. So we want this to hold these levels here. All right, you want this to hold these levels here for this move. If they fail to hold this, this is ugly because it means we've taken it and we're coming back inside daily range. Let's get a New York anchor on as well. It's my opening print. Yeah. So absorbing there nicely in front of sort of 36s. You want to see dips hold down here if you're looking for a move higher today. If they do not hold this, I think it will become very, very hard. Nice. ERF long from 20s, closed at 60s. Yeah, it made sense. Took the liquidity. That's the low-hanging fruit. Let's just say what it is. That 560 is what we were looking for yesterday as like final target. We finally hit it today. Anything above that is a bonus. It's just that there's so much action there on the daily. You would kind of expect them to go and do a little bit more than a sweep there. But maybe just needs some time to build out. How long we've got left until that new bar? Another 2 and a bit minutes to a new 15-minute bar, so we can think about the orb and things like that at that point. I do think there's a chance if it can sustain a bit above there today to have some good follow through. It's just got to get above the previous week highs for a weekly and daily breakout. It's trying to build right now. VIX towards lower day right now. Holding nicely here or hereabouts. You would need to see expansion though. It's probably my least favorite move if we do the failed breakout, given what we're looking at the daily. That would probably be my least favorite move if that's what we're going to do today. Low hanging fruit's gone. So I want to see us hold bids, firm up over daily levels and start squeezing. That's what I want to see us do. It's going to be a much nicer trading day if we are able to do that rather than do another failed breakout of the high. You got to think that means we've been up there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. This is our 6th time on a daily revisiting these areas and failing. That is not a good look for follow through if they fail there again. So back down towards those flow zones, checking this RBS level. Let's see if they firm up here. You've got anchored view up on the day at 29s. Come on, Mr. Market. Let's do something. Let's do something. Opening range coming here in 5 seconds will be set. So it'll be your high of session, low of session. Problem is ES can come back down much deeper here. It did a much bigger move upside. ES might need to back check 45s. Currently trading just under 50s. There's 50 again. If they reclaim 50 on ES, you might go. You're getting divergence here between the two as well, just to make it fun. And Tesla not wanting to participate in this move, just to make it even more hard for follow through today. So I'm starting to wonder here if this is going to be a terrible session at this point. If it's going to be a failed breakout, it's going to be a terrible, terrible session. Just checking if there's any more news coming. I didn't see any. Where's my... Oof. Puts me off trading. If we're going to do this, oof. 6 days of failed breakouts. What a market. If we're going to do this, it's going to be tough to think about a trade. ES has come back to that level, though. ES has come back to that level. And it's finding bids there. It's a better technical trader today. Again, how many days in a row are we going to say that on the NQ? It's not trading nice from a technical point of view at the moment versus the ES, which is just absolutely beautiful. So stuck underneath New York VWAP now on the Qs. ES just back testing where it broke out from, still finding bids in front of previous day high for now on the ES. NQ relative weakness here. Tesla dragging the market down. Looks very, very ugly. I wouldn't be thinking about longs right now in this market with what I'm seeing. It's a failed breakout of the high. Again, it's the last thing we wanted to see today. We did talk about it in Discord. Failed breakout of the highs. It was the last thing we wanted to see, and we talked about it this morning. Failed breakout of the highs. It's not what you want to see in a bullish market, which is looking to trade upside. Okay, so unfortunately, that's what we have right now. So if now we really need to think about, is it going to hold the 480s? If it starts letting go, if it trap buyers up here, breakout buyers up here, then we rotate back downside. Nvidia now going red, just. It's not like big red, but it is going red. Apple starting to give back quite a lot. They're in a profit-taking scenario here. In front of those Nvidia earnings, I'm guessing. Oh my gosh. Back to VWAP. Back to 480s. Maybe we clean up some of these guys. ES finding a bid on VWAP. We're at those 480s. These are big levels. They've got to hold these. If they don't hold these, we go to the next level down. We go and back test deeper and further down, which is what you're starting to see. So all I got out of that was a scalp. I'm very surprised there was zero follow through. Looking at the daily, it looks terrible. So if they're going to fail, if they're going to do a deep drive today, we're going back to 240s. If they're going to do a deep drive today on the daily, we're going to go back to 240s. So PDC will be the first level we're going to back test, which is here, 460s. Why does it keep closing this chart down for me? Come on, Intraday, wakey, 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 wakey. There we go. Zoom this in. Weakness here as the market's starting to roll. I'm not taking a short here. I will join if and when it's ready. I want to be very careful. Very, very careful. PDC here, back tested. Gap now filled, folks. That's one thing I'm going to say. This is why I want to be careful thinking about a short down here. It feels very risky. Gap has just been filled. Did they just need to clean this up to go back upside? Back into VWAP here. Strong momentum downside right now. Hard to think about anything for me. No, DK, definitely not. I have not rolled over. I'm still on the 0625 contract. They're finding bids here off those 80s. Oh, I wonder if they've done a dirty move here now. Have they done it dirty? Oh, my Apex copy is not working. What is going on? Please. Please, Ninja Trader. Please, Replicanto, start working properly. Don't need this at the beginning of the day. And 3 close downs of Ninja already to try and get my data up. Oh my God. Wakey, wakey, Ninja Trader. Data's gone again. The internet's fine because TradingView's working. Anyone else having issues? Just me. Okay, lower high here being set. If they don't get the lower low here, that's where shorts get trapped. If they get a lower low here, we break down. Those 480s are key. If we're going to hold that, there's potential for a squeeze back up. We're holding VWAP right now. There's absolutely potential here for a squeeze back up if they fail to break lower. Apple now gone red on the day. Nvidia just about gone red, same as Apple. Yeah, I use Replicanto. It's being a pain this morning, but I don't think it's Replicanto. I think I'm having some data issues from Trader8 here this morning. My charts keep freezing. I've already restarted Ninja 2 or 3 times now. Yeah, exactly, Miguel. That's what I'm having. It just keeps freezing on me. The whole chart keeps freezing on me. Maybe Trader8 having some data lag this morning. I don't know. Okay, lower high set here into flow zones versus New York. Shorts will need a lower low. Gap fill technically is into here. But it did complete the gap fill on the SPY and the ES. Not completed it yet on the QQQ and the NQ. If they don't get a break of structure to the downside here, this is where shorts will get trapped and we'll squeeze back upside. If they get the break of structure, we probably go next move down into 460s. And then 400s. So just waiting for this to make its decision. I don't really want to short in front of this gap fill here, in case they just want to bid off it. I don't really fancy getting short into that. No, it's the NQ, it's the futures. I don't trade the NAS 100. It's the same thing, but it's the futures. Yeah, Lindell, that would be good if they've got a fix for it. So just finding value here at VWAP right now at those 480s that we talked about. ES has filled its gap. Profit taking here this morning after taking those daily highs. Hourly refilling some of that imbalance that we talked about this morning. Maybe it finds bids. Yeah, I'd say 460s will become key for that next level down. If they hold 460s, they can bid off it. If not, we're going straight to 400. So short's trying to take control here of this move. Momentum bearish in the lower time frame and bullish in the higher time frame right now. We're doing nothing more than a back test. If you go to the higher time frame, all we're doing is continuation still. This can still hold in these levels to go higher. Just remember that. If we fail this, that's where it becomes very, very different. This is still just a back test of higher time frame levels right now. Nothing more than that. So sweep of the high, lower time frame trades back inside. And maybe we go upside. If we fail this, then we check these levels down here. Market doesn't look too good though. Tesla almost 0.5% down. Nvidia 0.13% down. Amazon's just gone green to red. Apple's gone red. Microsoft's about to go green to red. Strength in the market right now in Google and Meta, they're 0.5% up. Rest of the market is not participating in any upside. It looks to me like they want to do an inside day and they're going to wait for Nvidia earnings. That's very much what it looks like right now. They're waiting for those Nvidia earnings. So here's the back test of those 460s. We actually just flushed through it. If we stay heavy here, we're going to go 400s. If we stay heavy here, we are going 400s. You can wait to be bullish. You don't need to force it, because if they're going to do inside chop, this is the only move I didn't really want to see today. If they hold this and they want to go upside, fantastic. But what I did not really want to see today was a failed breakout and trade back down inside the range, because that is exactly the same as we had all last week, and you will know how unpleasant last week was to trade. We have filled the gap there now, the yellow line, peeked through it. If we find a bid off this, it would be gap fill reversal. So we gap fill and might reverse back upside here. Yeah, my Replicanto won't work today. Have another attempt, shall we, to see if you will wake up here. Just trading like 1 micro just to see if it will even link. Got to be a data problem if that's the case. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, NQ, you'll need futures data in TradingView if you don't have it, or you'll need to link it to a brokerage or prop firm that has futures data. Otherwise, you'll be 10 minutes delayed trading this. All right, so you can see bearish action here, fail breakout of the high, sweep the liquidity, bearish action here so far, coming down, gap fill here. If we fail this, we come down into these levels here. So far, lower time frame bearish, higher time frame bullish. The reason I don't like this is because of exactly what I've just said. We are lower time frame bearish, higher time frame bullish. We have zero alignment for a pro trend. It's not what you want to see. For a pro trend, it's not what you want to see. Would have been a much easier trade if we trade outside these daily and weekly levels that we've been in now for a long time. But let's see. If they get a fail breakdown here, again, there's squeeze potential on fail breakdowns in this market. You can probably afford to let it reclaim some key levels before trying to jump in here, because this is not looking pretty on the mag right now, folks. So reclaiming, if we start reclaiming 80s and getting through VWAPs, there's a trade upside. That New York Open basically at 500, 505s. Starting to see a shove up here after filling the gap. Watching ES into VWAP as well. If they start selling this, we're going to go to 400. So just letting this build out here. I'm not in a rush to trade this. Not convinced on anything when we're back inside. Remember, look left. All we are, even if we go to like, let's go to a 15-minute chart. Make it really easy. Where are we right now? We're back inside all this. I really don't want to trade in here. I want to get outside of this, or I want to continue this trend up to get outside of it. I do not want to be getting stuck inside this area. The gap fill has been complete. If that was all that the bears were looking for, then we can start moving. Back into the VWAPs here. You would need the mag to start participating, going red to green, which you're not seeing yet. You are not seeing it yet. So 480s and 460s, the key levels right now that we're bouncing between. There were key levels pre-market. It's what we went over in the pre-market action. Now we just wait. We will get something soon. I do not hate myself for not taking that sweep of liquidity and fade. I think that's a dangerous reversal trade to take. I'd rather just wait now. See if bulls turn up. If bulls don't turn up today, maybe there's a short rotation deeper. And watch SPY into these pre-market levels, 590s. Where did we bid off on ES? I'd say 92s. 90s and 92s on the ES. So I'm just marking these out so I've got them. It can easily go. I'm just like looking at the daily thinking we can just do a bar exactly like what we've got right now on the daily today and use that liquidity for Nvidia earnings and tomorrow if it wants. It could just leave the bar like this. It wouldn't surprise me. We said it can do chop today if it wants. If it needs to build that liquidity for the earnings, it's possible. So bouncing around old value area high, closing the gap. Do we start to get breaks back above flow zones and VWAPs for a squeeze back for a breakout kind of move today? If not, we get bearish continuation. Remember, lower time frame right now is in a sell. Higher time frame is in a buy. They are not agreeing with each other right now. So this is an hourly pullback. If the hourly pullback finishes and protects the low, then we expect upside. If this hourly pullback causes a change in character and we start breaking down, then we expect a shift in the hourly to go bearish. This is why it's a sensitive area. ES rejecting PDC right now. That is not a good look for bears. For bears, for bulls. Oh my God, too tired. Most of the market's pretty much flat. Like Apple's basically at PDC, Microsoft's at PDC, Amazon's at PDC. Most of the market is pretty much flat. It's given back its gains. What? I'm starting to worry. Can you guys hear me okay? Because every screen keeps blacking out like it's got no data here. Bit of a worry. It's not my internet then. All right, 480 back test again. Finding sellers there again. ES still can't get through its PDC. We're still bearish on the lower time frame. QQQ stuck between PDC and PDH right now. Catch you later. Late. All right. Potential bear flag here. ES getting stuck at PDC. It cannot break through it to the upside. So bears are in full control here on the lower time frame. And we're stuck at these 460s. Remember, this is sort of London high. It's where we broke out from. If we're going to let go of 460s with conviction, I think there is a trade back down to 407s. It's a big if right now. These are big, big levels looking left on the hourly charts. This is where we broke out from. This is where those sellers got stuck. If they turn into buyers, we probably go upside. If they are still in the tape and want to sell harder, we're going to go 400s. These are big levels. You can see it on the hourlies. I lack conviction for a downside move here right now because it's not pro trend. Make sure you're just checking the higher time frames. Look where we're drifting back into. Look at all these wicks. Look at the London high. This is where we broke out from. If we let go of this, we check these levels here. Like we said, is this firm? Clearly not. Is this firm? We'll find out. If not, we go here. If this is firm, we go back up. This is what they keep doing. They're trying to check to see, do we want to hold this level? Is there enough interest at this level to hold firm for us to go back upside? If not, it's going to keep searching lower until it finds a level where there's enough interest to go back upside. We don't know how low that's going to be. It can be very low. Yep, divergence on the tape. Starting to see ES trade back to PDC again. If we start reclaiming PDC, then it could be a failed auction outside of the daily and go back inside. It's still got to reclaim VWAP and things, but it's possible. Still just into flow zone, still back testing these 480s. If we can get through 480s and hold a bid, it looks better for upside. Otherwise, you're just guessing the bottoms right now. I really think you need the market to get back through its previous day closes. That's when the market can potentially go for you. Not before then. And really that 930 print is going to be key. We're under it. Remember, anyone who's traded today bullish is in the red. Unless they were a scout bull, but anyone who's like put a position on at the open, they're in the red right now. Arian 590s. Well, that would be pretty 5,900 would be pretty low. 5,913 I can see, and 5,919. 5,919 and 5,913. 5,900 feels like quite a low move, but maybe. Still protecting these 60s down here for now. It is protecting these 60s. It's stuck between 60s and 80s. This is basically a 20-point range that we've been in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15 odd minutes in the 20-point range here. Someone's going to lose, folks. Someone is going to lose. What a shame. This is everything I didn't want to see today. This is worst case scenario, what we're seeing here. I'll be honest, I hate this market right now. I think there's been 2 okay days. Most of the big moves have happened overnight, which I've missed. I just want to get out of this range that we've been in. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Day 10. Day 10 inside the death range, I'm calling it now in Discord. It's terrible. It is terrible. Let's just get out of it, man. I don't care which way we go. Let's just get out of it. Please. Please, man. Ugh. Just measure out this from a fib. Overnight low to high. 61 pullback. Yeah, it's lots of reasons for it to hold around here if it's going to do it. MAG is not looking good here, folks. It is not looking good. Tesla 0.10% down. Nvidia 0.36% down. Amazon 0.21% down. Microsoft 0.25% down. Meta 0.31% up. Apple 0.10% up. Google 0.05% up. I mean, they've all got the chance of flipping, but they've all got the chance of going into a sell as well. VIX back to 19, so peak below previous day low, found a bid. Not much I can do here right now. No pro trend for me. I don't really want to trade the chop. So I'm going to wait to see if buyers step up at some point today. If we start failing with conviction underneath 400s, I'll think about a short. But I don't really love the idea of shorting into potential RBS levels in a bullish trend on a higher time frame. That's sounds to me like a very easy way to get absolutely wrecked. I'd much rather be a buyer in this market today if it can prove itself. If it can't prove itself, then there's not going to be a trade. Just be that one little scalp this morning, which barely paid me a thing, and I'm going to have to be all right with it. Unfortunately, it didn't link either. All right, you got Divergence here. ES has made a new low and trying to trade back upside through the 30s. NQ did not make a new low, so it's still protecting those 460s. VIX has gone sideways. How long we got? 15 minutes. If we don't get a reaction in the next 15 to 45 minutes, I'm going to get off the screens early. I'm not going to sit here for a choppy day. I've done that with you enough. It frustrates the hell out of me, and it just means I'm exhausted the next day. So if we don't get a reaction soon, I will just get off and just come back tomorrow and just say in my head that they're waiting for NVIDIA, which is fine. They can do that if they want. We did talk about it. We even talked about it in Discord. I gave all the things that I wanted to see. And then I said here, it is possible we have a choppy day and wait for earnings to get out of range. So just in case that happens, to manage your expectations. All right. So I was aware that today it might well do this. Might well go into a holding pattern. I was rather hoping that they would do a breakout on the daily, sustain a bid on the daily, price it up, and have Nvidia do a massive bullish run and then start selling into close for profit taking before the earnings. That would have been A+ scenario. But what I want and what we get are not always matched. You can see right now, like, this is shocking. We're just doing one of these things again. I mean, no thank you. No thanks. No thanks. Let's just get going upside. So 480 back test again. Like, these 480s are key. If we start repricing through 480s and find a bid and we get through the VWAP and we get through the 930 print, we're going to go for a screamer. But until that point, not much we can do. I would like to think so. It is Coop, isn't it? It's starting to feel like one of those days. Hopefully we get a turn here and we can get a trade. Let's see. It's trying. These 480s are key. We can start flipping the flow zones, flipping the 480s, flipping PDC, flipping VWAP. We might have a trade. Otherwise, probably not going to have anything. And the book, I would say the book looks shit. It looks shit. There's no big numbers. It's just the algo each side with his 30 lot moving it like this. Doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. Mag not in agreement. It's never nice when you look at the mag. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them green. 1, 2, 3, 3 of them red. The average price of the green is probably about, well, was until this drop, about 20%. And the average price of the red is about 20%. No one's in agreement. Nothing's going to happen here. By the looks of it, we're just going to go into sort of a holding pattern. So 460 retest again. Divergence here again. ES breaking down again. Maybe it's going to come for those 9,019s levels that we talked about. NQ unwilling to break down, protecting the 460s again. Yeah, market stuck. It is clearly in a waiting pattern for Nvidia. Unfortunately, this is what happens. It's understandable, though. It is understandable. What if Nvidia misses? What if they come out and say, hey, Trump's fucked us. We can't sell that chip into China. We're going to miss X amount of billions of dollars. What if they say that? What if they say it's unrealistic to move any production out of Taiwan and China? What if they say that? That's the headline risk, isn't it? If they say that, Nvidia gets smoked. Even if it posts good earnings, if the guidance is bad, they will get smoked. That's the headline risk. All right, so holding 460s again, this market, still trading 480s to 460s. It's the levels we talked about beforehand. That's starting to look a little bit squeezy here. Starting to look a little bit squeezy here. PDC above, VWAP above, 480s above. It's got to get through all of that if it's going to have any chance of trading upside. Otherwise, we just chop and chop and chop and chop and chop. Yeah, maybe they built it, but how much has that cost them? How much is the labor going to cost them? How much is the extra taxation going to cost them? Does it look like a bear flag? Not to me. Not to me, because we're moving this way. The bear flag is like this bit here. This bit here, maybe. Maybe, but like this channel here is not really what you want to see when you're looking for shorts. Really, you want this to be built. This part here looks good. Stuck. But really, we're just in sideways channel now. You're going to get a flat. If we break, it's a flat break. NQ is just holding on and holding on and holding on and holding on and not giving you that move. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're building the channel. Think about a bear flag. It's like this one here. There's your continuation short. You could argue this, but I'd argue right now we're in one of these. It's just a little bit of a trend and it's a little bit ugly. This would be a flat break down here if we break that as a flat break. This is your bear flag. 1, 2, 3, 4 bars and then stuck and break. That's a good bear flag. Still stuck here. Oh my days, how long are we going to be stuck between 460 and 480? I remember the last time NQ was stuck in a tiny 20-point range for this long. Breaking down, maybe retesting that low. 50s is the low. Finding bids in front of it again. Are we going to move to overnight lows? Overnight lows is where 407s. There is room there. If they're going to do it, there's room. 8 minutes left or so until you get your initial balance set. There's the flat break. There you go. So 407's possible now. Yes, getting close to those 19s we talked about. This is where it found bids from. These are some of the first like bigger key levels now where we broke out from overnight. You can see it's where we broke out from here. All right, do they find bids here? If we get under this and stuck, this will be a failed breakdown. This will be the breakdown and continuation trade. Can still protect into here. This is why I'm saying it's not a pro trend, which is why I'm just sat waiting right now. For me, this is still an hourly pullback until it proves otherwise. Into previous day point of control there as well. Quite a big reaction off it. 440s. It's where most volume was traded yesterday. Back to 460s. Are they going to reclaim 460s and go back to 460, 480 chop? Or do they reject 460s now that we broke down from it and rotate lower? Back inside 460s. Well, this is fun, folks. My belly's rumbling. ES with a decent shove off that 23. So they're protecting the lows where we found demand. Is that all they needed to do? Time will tell here, folks. Time will tell. If we start breaking out of here, reclaiming these levels up here, there's a squeeze. Until then, it's going to be very, very choppy, but it has potential. It definitely has potential. Left a little imbalance there at 57. That's how quickly it moved away from it. Big volume there came in as well. Biggest volume for the last, I don't know, 30 minutes or so off that low. So a lot of passive buyers sat down there, a lot of shorts covering into that. So 70s now. Do they get through 80s? Do they start to reclaim PDC? Relative weakness in the ES based on where it's at. Remember, we've tapered here. We've pushed down to the low. We've found bids. Does it get a change of character for a squeeze upside? No idea at this point. But it has the potential to do it. It also has the potential to break back down under current low to 400s. But so far, I'd say it's protecting it. Reclaiming 460 is kind of saying something. It's saying that, hey, I don't really want to move lower unless I really have to. You're going to have to come in and really shove me lower if you want me to go down there. Otherwise, I want to go upside. Don't have much interest in going lower. That's what the market's saying right now. I'm just going to use the bathroom here, folks. Be right back. All right, has anything moved? Not really. Surprise, surprise, not really. Says everything you need to know. Market starting to let go for 60s though. Potentially looking for a breakdown here in this market. How long till initial balance is set? 90 seconds or so. Oh, what a bore. This market's been so bad for 10 days. Yesterday was really nice. We had like actually a nice move. And then the afternoon, I'd say it wasn't very nice, even though it went upside. It was just so painful the way it moved. And it's the same now. Like no one wants to put new money longs on inside here. Torture, yeah, it's been torture. Oh, it's just a terrible market. Terrible market. It's what you have when we've got, 3 months of supply when we look left and 10 days of, a range. And we never pull back far enough either on the daily, on the NQ. I mean, it's just the NQ is terrible on the day. It's just terrible on the daily. If you compare the QQQ to the SPY on the daily, SPY pulled back to the 200-day. It pulled back to the 200-day. It gave a very, very good technical backtest. The NQ, it hasn't even got to the 20-day. It didn't even test it. So probably higher time frame buyers are sat there being like, oh my God, like you're not letting me in. You're not giving me a chance to buy like a really good back test on the dip back down towards, 20,500. And you're not breaking out to give me a breakout potential. Like I do wonder, like what are the banks doing right now? What are the investment funds doing right now? They're probably just sat being like, I'm not trading this. I'll wait. We have to wait. A bit like us, but with way more size. All right, it's the same thing. Dripping down feels like controlled selling here. It is dripping down. This is not aggressive selling. If it was aggressive selling, we'd be breaking down violently. We're not doing that. It is controlled selling. Do you know what? We can do like a channel instead of one of these if I have it. There we go. I'd say most of it is somewhere around here. That's sort of in your channel. You're in a sell until it proves otherwise on the lower time frame. Starting to retest these lows here. Initial balance now set, so you have IB plays. This gets 15 more minutes of my time, and then I'm out of here, folks. I'm not going to sit and watch the market do this. This is exactly what frustrates the hell out of me, is watching a market do this all day. You will convince yourself there's something happening that isn't. I promise you. So this either gives us a move or it doesn't. We're trading back into higher time frame levels of interest for buyers right now. We are selling off lower time frame to those. It is a pullback leg. Nothing more than that until it proves otherwise. It's just a pullback leg. Mikhail, hi guys, is it worth following his signals? You can ask the chat. Does the chat make money learning to trade with me? Well, here are your signals. If you're actually looking for just signals, I don't really give you signals. I tell you what I'm looking for and when. Do you like money? Man, YouTube's a funny world, isn't it? Like, so many traders, I imagine, just flick from screen to screen to screen to screen looking for someone to tell them when to buy and when to sell. So weird that trading does that, because you wouldn't get that. You would not get that in another part of society. Imagine walking to a pub and be like, mate, can you make me some money with this? And Dave's like, yeah, I'll take your fucking money, mate. Thanks very much. How stupid are you? Like, to want to do that? Why would you not learn? Why would you give a stranger your money? Which is, if you're following a signal, that's what you're doing. If you're actually just following a signal, you're giving a stranger your hard-earned capital. Yeah, mate, just stick £1 million in here, or I'll make loads of money for you. Mental, man. Internet's wild. All right, still not trading underneath that initial balance. ES did break down and create a new low there, traded back inside its IB already. So potential for failed auction. It's still a bit early to be thinking about that. We're still trading underneath those 60s. Still has the chance to move to 407s if it wants to do it. Coot said, if you follow signals, I've got an oceanfront property I'd like to sell you over in Wyoming. Hit me up. I know where Atlantis is. If you give me $1 billion, I'll show you. All right, 60s and 80s, still the levels, folks. 60s and 80s, reclaims the 60s and 80s for any trigger long in the squeeze. Otherwise, this pullback can continue all the way down to 407s. I think it's 407s. I'm going to triple check that low. I think it's 407s. Yeah, 407s. If we get under 407s, then we can think about breakout retest for lower, or we can think about failed breakouts for turns back inside. But really, we're just doing a dance inside the range at that point. Don't trust me. You don't know me. I just want all your money. I just put it in my account. It's fine. Still remains in a sell. Flow zone's holding strong. Channel down, holding strong. $407's possible target if this wants to liquidate everyone who's traded from overnight. That would be the London low. We are trading into the IB low. These purple lines are your initial balance low right now. All right. This is what we're protecting. All right. Overnight buyers. I don't know what just happened there. This is what we're protecting. This IB. Wow. Come on. Why do you have to do this every day? This is what we're protecting. Okay. Here's your overnight low. You're going to draw that. You're going to move it. No, you're going to move it. Okay. This is your, no. Fantastic. This is your overnight low down here. So this is Globex. This is London lows where buyers bid up off Globex, off London. Under here, we can go break and retest. We can go fail, breakout, turn inside. Same for here if they protect it. Here's your anchored view up off yesterday as well. All right, so average price of buyers from yesterday is right here. 29s. We're in a sell lower time frame, but we're nothing more than a pullback leg. We are inside the death range. Day 10. I think it's day 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Day 10 in the death range. Oh, yeah. Death range. Where nothing happens. I pulled it, Paul. Did you not see me? I pulled it. I was like, yeah. I did one of these ones. That's the special signal. You only get to know what that means if you pay me a couple $1 million. All right, IB low taken. Do they do the failed breakout? Failed breakdown, sorry. On the IB low. The chop continues. So coming in towards that anchored VWAP right now, folks. $19's coming up like we talked about on the ES as well. So if you were short for this move to $19's in the ES, I'd be locking in some profits here. I would definitely be locking in some profits. Mag 7, most of it red other than Meta and Apple holding on. Meta and Apple definitely holding on here. If we're really going to go today, I'll be watching 350s and 232s. If we're really going to continue. Let's see. Oh, it's very controlled, this. This is being very controlled, the way they're doing this. It's not like deep with drives in. It's very, very controlled selling. They know exactly what they're doing right now. So back inside the IB. What did we hit there? 1925. So I think we almost took it there on ES. Very, very close. So closing the cup now, basically, all the way back down. And the question is, do they build a handle and go lower, or is that the end of it? Is that the end of it? Oh, man. Well, not in the short. Haven't been looking for the short today. Not in it long either. Hasn't reclaimed any of the key levels. So no trigger trade for me. I'm only interested really if there's a long trigger or a short trigger underneath 400s. Not till then. Till then, it's way too controlled right now. Nice reaction on the ES there. So initial balance not selling. Your triggers are still the same points, 460s, 480s here, folks. Same points on the triggers. Here's the squeeze. There's 80s. 80s, sorry, there's 60s. Do they want the 80s? It's a big squeeze. Do they want the 80s? Are they going to go for it? If they can't start absorbing 60s, this can go upside. Hasn't really retested back down towards. It just broke out of 50s with volume. If you look at the volume that stepped in, it came in at 50s. So it hasn't really retested that yet, but it did just break out of there with volume. So do the sellers step back in for retest of the low and then do buyers bid up, or do we just hold 60s and start going 80s, and then through 80s you know where we're going? We didn't sweep on the ES, like, oh, it's ugly leaving that much liquidity. The buyer stepped in at 50, passive buyer on the book at 50. There we go. So coming back down to him now. Do they now want to move lower? It's very, very tricky here because they keep leaving liquidity. This is just like the last few days. It's so nasty when they leave it by a tick or two. So ES traded down to 19.25. The low that it needs to take out is 1850, really. '50s over under, I guess. Reclaim 50s, reclaim 60s, they can reclaim 80s. Let go of 50s, probably go back to low of day, and you probably see ES make a new low and come and clean up that overnight low that we just talked about. It's messy here, folks. It is messy. The book is messy as well. Like, I don't know if anyone's watching Bookmap in the level 2. It is just like blotted with small, crappy orders. There's no magnet on the tape today. Someone reloading bids there on ES. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a good place to cover and a good place to buy long term if you're thinking that we're going to move out of the range. Mag's still a complete mixed bag here. Failing to make a new low there so far. 50's getting reclaimed here now. I've just realized what's happened on NinjaTrader. It's opened up a duplicate chart. How has it done that? Only noticed because the indicator looks slightly different. Wow. That's good to know. At least I know what might have caused those problems this morning. No reclaim on the ES. It's still got low-hanging fruit. It's still not swept. You would imagine they will want to sweep before they think about doing anything else in this market. But damn, have they made this like nasty the last week. Think about last Tuesday or Wednesday when NQ failed to sweep the high by a tick. ES has basically done that this morning. I'm going to get out of here in 15 minutes unless we see something. I'm not interested in controlled selling and sideways and controlled selling and sideways. So 50s reclaim, watching for 60s. If we do that, I'll think about the trade to 80s. It will feel counter trend reversally, but it's not. It's off a high time frame level. The problem is if we're going to do that move without sweeping, it's going to be impossible to pull that trigger. Oh, the tape's ugly, man. This tape is ugly. Like all the like decent size is up above 550 and 575. There's like where we are now, it's just like 10 lots, 10 and 11 lots everywhere. You would think they'd need to come and sweep, but my trust in this market is nil point. Nil point. I want to get long, but I can't get long till they sweep. So what happens? No, the flow zones don't do risk reward for you. They can't do risk reward for you because that is such a thing up to you, Richard. You need to understand where your risk is, what you're willing to risk, what type of trader you are, and whether you're going for fixed R or going for liquidity levels. They can't do that for you. Come on, NinjaTrader. What is wrong with you today? I'll close you again. Freezing again. Oh, it always makes me wonder, is this just on Apex data feed? Is this because they got a massive sale on, I wonder? Yeah, I can't build those in, dude, because it's so much about how you like to trade. Everyone likes to trade differently. Some people are going like from beginning of day to end of day. Some people are scalping 5-10 points. Some people are going from liquidity to liquidity. So risk reward indicators don't really do much for you, really, other than if you're using one to work out, say, oh, my max risk is always going to be 500, for example, and you want to know how many contracts to use based on the stop size, then I would understand using one. That makes sense. And I can advise you some ones to use for that. But one that auto plots will never work properly, if that makes sense. You need one that adjusts to your sizing. Okay, stuck at 60s again, stuck at PDC again. Still has not swept. ES has not swept either. I'm much more interested if and when we sweep. ES starting to break down here. Okay, now it's swept. ES has now swept. Thank the Lord. Okay, so starting to see some selling here. ES has swept. We still have a little way to go. All right, we have to get down here on NQ if it's going to do the same move. Otherwise, you're going to get divergence. Let's just get rid of this. So ES has swept, starting to see if they want to protect this or not. We are still inside of the initial balance on the NQ. ES is outside of the initial balance. You have divergence across the tape, every which way you look at it right now. Yeah, exactly. Low swept on the ES. Not swept on the NQ, but swept on the ES. By not even a point, I don't think. I think it's tapped it, actually, rather than swept it. 1850, is that right? Has it tapped it rather than swept it? On my chart, it's tapped it, I think. Next leg down. It has a next leg down if it wants to go there. Next leg down would be into 1912s. If it's going to stay heavy. Yeah, tapped it. That's what I thought. Just tapped it. Got it now. Yeah, swept underneath now. That last candle got underneath. All right, so do we get a reaction here or not? Do we get an IB trade back to VWAP here or not? Very hard with the divergence on the tape. Look where ES versus IB is. Look what it swept. Look what we've left. All right, ES is way down here. So again, ES in a nicer sell pattern this morning, acting appropriately, doing all the right things. NQ being a pain in the butt again. So I think PDC and 60s will be a trigger. That can be a trigger long upside potentially. And if you're playing this, if you're playing the initial balance rotation right now, I don't blame you. If you're playing this risking the IB or the lows just under IB, you haven't had a change of structure. But if you're playing it for rotation, you can target that move to 480s, which is your VWAP. Yeah. So if you're like, I'm betting on a long here, we've got divergence versus ES, I'm risking the initial balance, I'm looking for a trade to here, you can think about your risk and reward to be like this. There isn't a breakout yet. There isn't anything to trigger the long other than playing a rotational play from initial balance to VWAP, which happens most days. All right. IB to VWAP happens most days. An auction will have to be outside of this. So far, there's been no auction outside. So this move here becomes probable. This move into here becomes probable. But the book, I'm going to warn you now, the book is messy. It's junky. It's just so spread out, like just dotted 10s, 20s, 10s, 20s. There's no like big player coming in and saying, we're going up and we're going now and here's the volume to go. And there's no big seller stepping in and saying, no chance. There's just nothing. It's just chop. tell you what, it's boring as hell though. We were in 80s to 20s for like 30 minutes, and now we're stuck from 40s to 60s for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27 minutes. So we spent 30 minutes in 20-point range. Now we spent basically another 30 minutes in 20-point range. This is hell. Absolute hell. Still protecting IB. All right, so for you, if you're trading these IBs, these are your potential cheap trades, as some people would call it. I don't know, but I like trying to play momentum. But these are cheap trades if you feel it's going to hold the initial balance and be absorbed down here. Oh yeah, very nasty, Gus. Super nasty this morning. And higher time frames, all it's doing is trading into the old point of control and a pullback on the hourly. That's all we've done. The last 2 hours have rebalanced that breakout candle, which came in London session, I think. Yeah, came in London. That's all we've done. There's no higher time frame change of character. So the shorts, in theory, should start covering between now and that 407. And if they're looking for continuation, there'll be ads on underneath 407. ES has already done that move, which is making it dirty. And the MAG continues to do absolutely nothing. All right, Tesla 0.20% down, Nvidia 0.18% down, Google 0.05% down, Amazon 0.29% down, Microsoft 0.24% down, Apple 0.28% up, Meta 1/3% up. They're not big numbers here, folks. We're just waiting. We're in holding pattern for Nvidia. That's what we're in right now. Everyone just wait for Nvidia to tell us what they're doing. That's what the market's saying right now. Unless someone gets an early read. What I would say is VIX is trading up towards that 1944. A break of that, there's a trade up to 1959. A break of that, we come and test those old lows into 20. So you do want to watch that on the VIX. If it starts going, we start going risk off. Back to the IB low here. It feels like we're trading overnight session right now, not New York. Doesn't it? Feels like we're trading overnight session. Oh, we're going to come down to these 07s. Oh, let's go back to bed. That's the point. Such a slow walk down. Nvidia better get us out of this daily range, I tell you. One way or another, Nvidia better get us out of this daily range. All right, 07's coming by the looks of it. Into anchor VWAP. This is your Globex. We did peek through it in Globex, just so you know. So 07's is underneath. That's why I've got this blue box down here. Tonight, after the bell, Tyson, like 4:20, 4:30, New York time. Nice phenom. It's almost there. Should move, like, if NQ helps it, you should move down into the 12s. That old spike high from yesterday. And you got that old IB high and old VWAP at 08s. So all pops faded on the flow zones. I'm waiting for, hoping for a pro trend. If it doesn't come, then, well, I don't get a trade. I don't get a trade. If London got it again, which is what it's starting to look like, it's starting to just look like London got the pro trend because the pro trend is up. There's the flag, there's the break. Now we just trade back into point of origin. So either we bid off this or we get stuck and we go back down to test this level. Here's the IB test. Sold into IB. They just sold into IB there. IB again. Back to flow zones, back to the EMAs. Are they going to start to let this through? Decent volume. They have to pull back and hold the IB, otherwise I wouldn't really trust it. If you're looking for the rotation, very, very tricky. You're still very, very early in this. If you're looking for a rotation, there's been no change of character. We have not tagged overnight lows. ES has tagged it. You do have divergence there, but I'll just say risky. But failed auction by the looks of it. If we're going to fail the auction, VWAP is potentially possible. There's a seller here at 50s. If we get through 50s, we're going to go 60s. We get through 60s, we're going to go 80s. So here's the failed auction. Here's 50s. They're tapping on 50s. Does he move out the way? Refreshing there. Maybe get through that. We're going to go straight 70s. Here's the move towards 70s now. If they can get through 50s and sustain a bid, which they couldn't. No reason not to, which is not good. Come on, market. If you're going to get going, let's get going. Let's stop the faff. Stop the faff. That's crazy. If you look at the book map, big buyers came in and we didn't move. That's not a good sign. Reclaimed IB, big buyers stepped in on that volume, started to squeeze up, and we couldn't get through a sustained bid on 50s. That is not a good sign. It's not what you want to see if you're looking for a rotation. Starting to thin out a bit underneath 25s, though. So not many offers underneath 25s right now. One at 10. We've got a bit of room from 25 to 10. So see if they thicken it up under there or not. If not, then hopefully start chasing it back up. Yes, still underneath the IB as well, by the way, folks. So you still got divergence down there. It's having another go. Protecting that volume so far. Does it go for it now? 50s. Going to be checked here by the looks of it again. Refresh seller here at 50s. Through that, 55, 60, 65, 70. It's not just like the five numbers, the $5, but that's where they are. I'm telling you where the sellers actually are right now. If they start lifting this, we're going to go 60s, 80s, and straight to VWAP. Remember, it's failed auction underneath the IB. I'm in this long, looking for a push now. Want to see us reclaim PDC? Lovely. Go, 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 go. Do not hesitate 60s for me. If we really get going, we can go higher day today. Come on. Go and take deep pullbacks out. Let's go. There's 60s, looking for a move to 80s now. Been adding into this. I'm sized up in this. Don't want hesitation here. I'm going to pull a few off here. Nice. Beautiful. Okay, let's see if we can go VWAP now because we're doing the IB rotation. Let's fucking go, baby. Let's go. So looking for a move to VWAP from initial balance, failed auction, held yesterday's VWAP. There's the break, there's the flag, up we go, here's my target, and then through that higher day. I mean, I'm not looking for higher day, but I'll hold a runner if I can for higher day. So all pullbacks need to hold 60s now, 56, 60s. I want pullbacks to hold those levels to get to VWAP. Simple as that. That's what I'm looking for. They can't hold it. I'm not interested in holding. Only because NQ didn't sweep Globex. ES did, so we got divergence there, but if NQ wants to be dirty, it will come back for it. So I'm looking for this dip here. It needs to hold for me to stay in this trade for a move back to VWAP. Lots of selling here, 70, 75, 80, and 90. Lots of selling up here. They're not big lots, but there's lots of people passively sat on the book. Which is the treat. The cheapest will be the advanced challenge, but the advanced challenge will be the trailing drawdown, just like Apex. The best one to use would be the growth challenge. Cost you a little bit more money, but it's actually cheaper because it doesn't have a activation fee. So waiting to see if this pullback holds now. Need this pullback to hold now. It's a good look there so far. It's exactly what I want to see. Now I'm looking for it to rip some faces here through 70s. Congested up here. You can see it on the tape. I think there's a move to VWAP. It's just how far down do they need to dunk it first? Hopefully not very far. Hopefully not very far. Not willing to hold this under 50, that's for sure. Much rather it just holds this PDC here. Because if that's yesterday's close and we've failed underneath it, this is a good sign to go up. If it gets heavy underneath yesterday's close, I like it much less. It's got unfinished business here, and I'm just aware of that. That's the divergence. Remember, ES came and took all of this out. We have already repriced the last H1 in the first 7 minutes. Also got to be careful of that. Buys here into 50s. I really don't want it to get down to 50s. I'd much rather it held up here. I'd feel way more confident holding it held. There's 57s. 55s. Seller's starting to step on the tape here. Starting to try and walk it down. I might just take this off if it can't hold flow zones. Good absorption on flow zones. Very good. Held 50s, which is good. Can it actually move upside now, though? Entry, yeah, failed auction. Failed auction. Trend break. Flag. Failed auction underneath IB. Held VWAP. IB. Push. Pull. Long. Partial into here. Now looking to see if they hold this. They don't hold it, so I'm out now. So didn't lock in anywhere near as much as I could have there. I was holding for VWAP. Can always re-enter, though. I mean, this was an initial balance trade. Go over this in the course. That is your failed auction underneath the IB. It held yesterday's VWAP. There's your trend break. There's the push. There's the pullback. There's the hold. There's the trigger up. Needs to hold these levels now for a continuation upside. Otherwise, we're going to go back down. Why can't I get rid of this? Otherwise, we go back down for unfinished business. That might have just checked me out by 2 points there just to go upside by the looks of it. Dirty. Dirty bugger. Nice, Miguel. Good work. Good work. Oh, I should have locked more in there. Kicking myself a little bit. Maybe we get a re-entry. I want to wait now for flow zones to really cross the deep pullback flow zones. Otherwise, still unfinished business down at 407, so I'm very aware of that. Tesla letting go now a little bit, 0.5% down. Meta green, Google green, Apple green, Tesla red, Nvidia red, Amazon red, Microsoft red. Catch you later, Richard. All right, so flat. I'm flat on this now. Should have locked more in there. Kicking myself a little bit there. Should have locked more in. ES looks so weak, man. It's very weak. Back to the initial balance here on the NQ. Buyer just stepped on the tape at 30. ES retesting towards its lows. Finding a bid there for now on the ES. We are finding a bid at initial balance for now on the NQ. Still very early to think about anything else right now. Momentum stays downside here for now. We are protecting that initial balance, and we do have that yesterday's VWAP, this blue line, acting as some level of support. It's average price of buyers from yesterday. Very hard to think about another long here. They had the chance to move away. They didn't do it. This is the pullback inside, but they've left liquidity. We have divergence at the lows, but there's low-hanging fruit at 407s here. It's like, how hard can they make it? They're making this very hard, because if we let go of 407s on the NQ, we have an hourly trend, change. And that's the danger right now. I don't like that there's still buyers down below either. It's not like it's picked them all up. They're all just sat there, so probably going to have to wait here. Love that trade to VWAP, but I don't know. Look at the ES. Looks terrible. Not filled with confidence right now in this market, as you can probably tell. Unfinished business at 407s. That's the danger right now. And once we get to 407s, that's an hourly low. That is a problem if they stay heavy under that. That was my trigger for a potential short. If they get under it, stay heavy, retest it for a move lower to 350. So a bit of a dance here. Bit of a dance here. And ES breaking down. Fuck me, man. What a terrible market. All right, NQ needs to break down now so that we can just get rid of the divergence. Otherwise, we're just playing in no man's land. Can't just keep just fucking around like this for week after week after week. Otherwise, I'm going to get so bored, I'm going to change instrument. This is so bad. Back to the IB then. Either auction or don't auction. Don't just sit here, please, and blow my brains out. I'm going to blow my brains out watching this price action. Exactly. I'm going to go juggle some chainsaws while they're on. Without handles. I'm going to juggle some grenades without the pins in. That's what it feels like this market right now. Oh my days. These buys at 430 and 425 are not helping any thesis right now. If they left the tape, I'd actually feel more confident that we're going upside. But right now, they haven't left the tape. They're on the tape, sat there. We held the IB again then. Purple line again. Point of control again. But we haven't pivoted up. No buyers are showing any idea or any sentiment to try and show follow through upside from the IB to VWAP. That's what I'd like to see, but they're not doing it yet. '50s again. When I see spikes like that and sold into and there's no one in the tape, I don't really understand who's there. The seller's at 55. There we go. Go up to him. You gave half of your small profit. Yeah, I think I did about the same, not locking in. That's all right. It happens. You can't, it's one of those. I expect VWAP. If it doesn't do it, I give back some money. It is what it is. This is terrible. VIX looks like it wants to break out. ES looks like it doesn't want to break down. NQ's in a holding pattern. Zero confluence in this trade right now. Zero confidence in the market right now. We should be trying to get to VWAP, but looking at the VIX is not looking like it wants us to go to VWAP. But we should be trying to go to VWAP. Like, there's no one on this tape until we get to 70 upside, really. I mean, I'm not going to count 10 lots. So this is just like chop. Buyer at 40, a whole whopping 12 lot, and he just moved down because he's scared. 44 buyer at 25. Sellers are up at 480s. That's where I want us to get to, 480s. That's VWAP. It's where we should be trying to rotate to right now. We should be trying to get to VWAP. VIX failed to drive the breakout there, which is a good sign. Can we get to 480s here? I want to see us reclaim PDC, which is up here, which is what they're selling into right now. They're just marketing in that. Do you know what? No. Alex, no. Don't even bother. I'm not touching this. No. I'm thinking better about this. I'm not even going to bother. It's going to go. Now I've said I'm not going to bother. It's going to go. But what I'm seeing on the tape is just horrendous. VIX now trying to break out again. Market doesn't know what it wants to do. Hey, yay. Make your mind up, Mr. Market. Look at ES. Back testing 20. If it stays heavy, it's going to go for low of day back down to 12. Look at VIX trying to break out and then look at NQ. It's ugly. They're going to step on the gas here now and go 380s. 480s, sorry. Yeah. You got to laugh. Okay, reclaim 60s. Liquidity sat at 70s, break 70s. We should go straight slingshot to VWAP. This is what we should have been doing the whole time. It really shouldn't be this hard to do it. Why they make it so hard for us? All right, here's 65s, pushing up into 70s. Remember, stops are at 70s. We should really liquidate them for the move to 80s if it's going to do it. Back testing 60s at PDC. Yeah, PDC. We should be going up. It really should be going up, especially if VIX keeps failing here. We should be going up. I mean, even that, if we're going up to 80s, is it worth the risk? There's not much. We're at 60s. We're playing for 20 points here. It's not worth it. Range is gone. Range is gone from the market. Where's the New York Open? 500s. You would have to watch ES into initial balance low. It would need to reclaim initial balance low. Pre-market lows where it's banging into right now. If these buyers become sellers here, it's a problem. But if ES starts reclaiming, it will help the NQ squeeze up to VWAP. So here's 70s. Through 70s, we should go 80s. Through 80s, I think there's a good shot to get up to 500s. So high time frame pullback looks like it's finished. Look at the hourly. Bang. Here we go. 70s. Let's go 80s, please. Stop the faff. Lower time frame algo here. Let's get through that. Let's go straight up to VWAP, please. Stop the faff. There doesn't need to be this much faff. We're talking about a 10-point move into VWAP. Come on. There's a seller there. 61 lot at 80. You want to go there. Come on. There's the lower time frame algo. You can trim some here if you want, but I think we're going VWAP now. If we get through VWAP, I think we're going 500s. And stuck there in front of VWAP. Almost tagged it. Almost tagged it. Lower time frame algo and VWAP. We get through these, we're coming straight up here, folks. So the higher time frame has finished the pullback. You can see there's the breakout. Oh my God, why is it doing that? There's the breakout. There's the retest. There's the hold. Here we should have continuation now. This hourly should start wanting to do this now at this point. Didn't realize I was on the wrong chart. Sorry, folks. So almost into VWAP. Lock in your money here if you're taking this IB trade with me. I had about 3 attempts at this. So initial balance. Failed auction. Failed auction. You're going to draw it. Way. All right, there's the push. Pullback, protected this low. IB, there's your cheap long. Profits into here. This is your probable move. So like I would say 80% of your profits should be taken into this move. If we firm up, we need to firm up here for expansion. But the probable move is what? It's always the IB rotation. It's always initial balance after a failed auction to VWAP. We just did it. And we missed it by, I don't know, how close was that? Very close. We missed it by 2 ticks. All right? 2 ticks. All you missed it by. ES is rejecting its initial balance low for now. You're starting to see this tapering pan out. Right, look how controlled this was. This is very controlled. This is not like panic selling. This is a big sell. This is like a walk down. Controlled, controlled, controlled. There's the sweep. There's the reclaim. There's the change of character or structure. There's the pullback. There's the hold. There's the break. There's the long trigger. There's your partial. Any pullback that holds here we're looking for a trade over this and extension. Any pullback that fails this will probably come back down into this level. Your easy money's gone. It's the only trade we had. I was waiting for this trade all morning, waiting for bulls to step back in because it's the pro trend. For me, it's the easier trade. Actually locked in some nice money there. Finally. All right, have to wait now. If they don't want to hold it, there's not a lot we can do. ES rejecting the initial balance was key for me. So like I'm out fully right now and I'll wait. We only have half an hour left to lunch. There might be, that might be it. That might be 3 attempts of that. Finally got it on the 3rd attempt, locked in. What did I make on that? Not too much. $1,900 on the day. It's not the worst day considering there wasn't a whole lot to play with. There really was not a whole lot to play with. Yeah, I just talked about it, Raphael. Sorry. I took the long off the initial balance failure. Back to VWAP. All right, so my long first attempt was here. After this failure for VWAP, failed. Took some here, rest break even. So missed it, waited for this. Same play, long to VWAP. Got it that time. Not a huge trade, 50 to 80. That's all that we've got. Well, I can only play with the range we've got right now. That's it. That's all I've taken. Yeah, but they're not linking right now, unfortunately. Some issues with Replicanto this morning. So I only traded 2 accounts there. All right, starting a base here at 60s. Starting to run out of time. There's still low hanging fruit. If it really wants to go down, it can. Remember, ES is looking very, very, very weak. Look at the divergence between the two. You have to start understanding this. Look where ES is versus initial balance. Look where its VWAP is. It never reclaimed here. Remember I said, if ES reclaims, it can help us. It never reclaimed here. So ES probably going to look for this area here now. If it fails that area here, where's it going to go? This area here. All right, so here's your big break on ES. Here's the pro trend. If it can't hold this, there's a chance of a failure back into this range. This is absolute death chop zone. That's not what we want this market to do. Will you get multiple initial balance to VWAP trades, or is it often a one-time thing? Oh, it depends, mate. Like, I'd say I'd be less interested in second time round because we've already failed the auction. We had one attempt. There's your pullback. This should now, that's it, done. This needs to hold here now to go up. If this comes back to IB, I'd say that's a problem. It needs to hold this range now to go upside. You want it to hold this guy here. So think about the structure. There's the break. It needs to hold this guy here to go up. If we come back down into here, I'd say that's just then swept liquidity up here, and we're then going to do one of these. So I'd say bulls need to hold the range that we're in right here, right now for upside. And you'd need ES to start participating in the market. You need the whole gang to join, you know? So back to 60s again here. No worries, dude. You're getting divergent, like big divergence between the indexes right now. So ES, NQ is holding that level we just talked about. Here's 70s. There's seller at 75 and then 80s right now. So NQ relative strength right now. You can do like a little, do you know what? Let's change this to a 2-minute chart just to clean it up a bit because it's looking a bit messy. Right. There's your channel. So we tapered, we went sideways. If you think about this, as you move down this morning, and we start to move sideways, then we sweep, and then we go upside, pull back, upside, pull back. This needs to hold here for this move here. If it fails, this becomes possible, right? There's decision point where we are. Again, VIX is building into 1932. It's trying to break out, which is going to drag the ES down with it if it does. We have divergence versus the NQ. NQ is above its initial balance, looking to grind out to get above VWAP. ES is well below the initial balance, trading near low of day right now. They're very, very different markets. We have big divergence in the tape. When we have divergence in the tape, it's not an easy trade, right? These are harder trading days. We're inside the death chop as well. All right, guys, let's just go back to everything I didn't want to see today. This is death chop. Death chop, death chop, death chop. We don't want to be here, all right? We want to be up here. And we can trade all the way back down to here if it really wants to. If we're going to build that right shoulder out on the daily, like I talked about, we can afford to chop here. And this can be one of these, all right? If we start getting underneath this, I'd be concerned if I was a bull, all right? Because you've got failed acceptance. Really, right now, we should just be going upside. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts. We should really do this, 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 this. At this point, it should be able to come up into this. It shouldn't need to come back down here after that failed auction down there. It really shouldn't. I would say if you didn't have NVIDIA earnings today, we probably would have broken out. That would be my gut instinct on this market. You probably would have broken out. Death chop. The death chop. The worst market. I'm stuck there. All right, ES back towards lower day right now. It breaks down from here, it's going to come into those 12s. Okay, if they absorb here again, it's going to be failure of shorts to go lower. Momentum is downside right now on the lower time frame. I guess the question really is on an H1 right now. What are we doing? All right, so if we've done this big pull, if we reject this level here, can we go lower? I guess is the other way of looking at it. Thinking about this move here, does this want to drift down and break lower now? Is this the pullback that's finished for shorts? If sellers are really going to take control of this range, it would be gross. Why am I saying that? Because it would be failed breakdown lower, failed breakout higher, failed breakout higher, failed breakdown lower, failed breakdown breakout higher. It'd be really horrible, but I'm trying to stay flexible and obey what's in front of me. Trying to be flexible. Oh my days. Protecting the IB there on that last shove. Look at ES breaking down. Okay, so it's going to go for those 12s by the look of it. That old spike high that we had. I'm hungry. Hungry. Hopefully, most of you did not get chopped up today. VIX trying to break out here, back into 38s again. Be very cautious here watching this VIX. It's got to move to 57s. If it moves through that, 20s very quickly, I would say. I'll just get a refill on the coffee here. Be right back. Oh, yeah, it's trying to find a bid again, is it? Left those 12s. Don't trust it still. Nice, Jeff. Yeah, good work. Yeah, I'm up on the day, but man, that was hard work. It was way too hard work. All that's going through my head now is I won't be touching the afternoon session because it's going to get even worse unless there's a reaction soon. It's going to go even probably even more consolidation unless there's an early read on Nvidia, which either pumps the market or freaks the market out. So what I'd love is Nvidia to have a good print, a good guidance, and this market to want to move outside of the range, ideally to the upside, just because of where we are on the daily. And then we can come to the market tomorrow and look for some dips to get long. Alternatively, if Nvidia has a horrible print and guides horribly, that's fine, as long as we move outside of the range to the downside. What I don't want to do is have a horrible print and us just keep absorbing, because there's definitely been absorption on the tape now for 10 days. I think we're all aware of that. But yeah, 20 minutes till lunch. Market's not really moved that. I mean, I guess the range isn't so bad. 100, not even, yeah, 100 points. I mean, that's quite small for NQ, let's face it. It's pretty small for NQ. Maybe unsurprising after yesterday's big move. Yeah, chill out for the rest of the day. I've got I finished filming some content. I'm having it edited at the moment. I need to review it all. Get it up soon. Get the website up soon. Might be changing the way we do Flow Zone next year. So if you're grandfathered in, if you're already in, you're fine. But might be changing a few things next year. All right, market, what are you doing? Are you wanting to go back upside now, or are you just going to faff around some more? Probably faff. I would imagine. You like a faff. Yes, just terrible. I hate that we leave so many levels of liquidity at the moment. I really don't like it. I really don't like it. All right, looks like it's trying to break down of this sort of bear flag here. Definitely don't trust it. I wouldn't want to touch this long, and I wouldn't want to short down here based on where we are higher time frame. You're trying to get short into this, not ideal. Short under it. Short under it, fine. Reclaim, long, fine. Short here. Look at all this. Any execution there just seems like a bit of a risk right now. Especially lunch in 15 minutes. Yes, looks like it wants to try and get to those 12s, but just can't seem to do it. Remember, there's still low-hanging fruit on NQ at 07s. They're there. They're sat there if it really wants to break down. You've definitely seen absorption down here. Like buyers stepped in, buyers stepped in, buyers stepped in. It would need to turn these buyers into sellers to get this move here. I'm not convinced on anything right now. But the M5's bearish, M15's bearish. Can even argue M2's bearish, M1's probably, yeah, bullish for now. Oh, boring, boring, boring. I've lost my stream again. If ES doesn't break down the lows, it's where shorts will get trapped, but it's still bearish. It's still looking for that move into the 12s and below on the ES by the looks of it. It is still rejecting its initial balance low. SPY can move all the way back to 88 if it wants. It's got another point in it on the SPY, which I guess is probably 10 points on the ES. I don't know how they do it. QQQ, NQ, relative strength. I'll give you a readout on the MAG as well. Tesla about to go red to green, or attempting it. Nvidia 0.18% up now. Meta 0.42% up now. Google 0.10% up. Apple 0.5% up. Amazon 0.5% down. Sorry, 0.25% down. Microsoft 0.5% down. You still have a mixed bag. 3 of them red, 4 of them green. No like big winners there. No big losers. No one dragging the market around too much right now. Still low hanging fruit if it wants it, down at 407s. If it wants it. I don't know if it wants it, but it's there if it wants it. ES finally going to go for those 12s. Liquidity on the book. There's a buyer at 440. There really isn't a lot else. It's very, very small down here. Sellers 465, 470, 475, 480. And biggest seller on the book right now is up above 550s. So way, way up there. He did not get filled this morning. He's been there all day. What a bore. Really, we've been in 40-point range for 2 hours. That's how bad this market is. Let that sink in. We should be able to do that in a candle or 2 candles for sure. And when I'm saying candle, I mean an M1 candle. So that's how bad the market is right now. Volatility has left. It's gone. The volume is gone. Everyone's gone. No one wants to play right now. You're probably seeing some profit taking, and that's about it. Look at the VIX. Terrible. Just slow grind up. No follow through 35s. No follow through on the market to the downside. No follow through this morning on a breakout on the market to the upside. Just no one at home. Nothing to do here. Old point control still just sort of being absorbed. Remember, this is buyers levels from yesterday. It's the anchor view up from yesterday, point control from yesterday. All the time this holds, those buyers from yesterday are absolutely fine in this market. They're not being forced to sell the market. All the time they absorb in there. Yes, having another attempt to get back towards 920s. Still not got down to 912s. Still just in a terrible, terrible range. I really would advise you to get off the screens this afternoon, folks. It could get way, way worse this afternoon. Maybe you get lucky and it gets better, but there's a good chance it gets even worse until you get into power hour and definitely into the market on close, the imbalances on close, and you're going to get volatility in the options as we start to get into NVIDIA. So just be aware of that. ES trying to get to that 20s again that we just talked about. Do they start covering the shorts into lunch here? 10 minutes left. How does this hourly candle close? 20 is going to be key here. There's lots of stops here on the ES at 20s if it can get up there. So far, not able to get up there. Just rinse, repeat. Oh my God. If I had a grenade, I'd eat it right now. Just text my friend saying I'm going to blow my brains out watching this market at the moment. It's so bad. Oh, another day. How can we have another day in this? What are we going to do if we're here for like another week? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Remember, we're on pause for tariffs right now. That's all we're on. We're on pause. 50% tariffs. Now there's no tariffs. Now we're pausing tariffs. I'm going to tariff you, Apple. I don't think that's even legal, Mr. Trump. I don't care. I'm going to tariff you. Market's like, what the fuck are we doing? We've got a lunatic in charge right now. Yeah, exactly, Ramus. Exactly. You can tell you know what you're talking about. Higher time frame buyers fighting the lower time frame. Exactly it. Nailed it. You nailed it. That's exactly what's happened. Higher time frame buyers looking for areas to absorb that. Lower time frame buyers looking to sell through those higher time frame buyers right now. That's exactly what we're having at the moment. Very good reads. And you haven't taken a single trade, perfect reads. And I know yesterday, once we talked in Discord, you were saying it's exactly what gave you the confidence to get long yesterday was the alignment of all the time frame buyers. And that's what you need in the market. You need alignment. We want to get involved when the whales are giving a good shove in the market. How long got to close here? 7 minutes. Do they shove this back up now, I wonder? Are you going to give it a giant shove up? It would be hilarious. I've got a little tickle on this just in case. Just a little tickle. I'm watching ES as it approaches IB, taking some off here. Just in case. Not expecting anythings. Yeah, that is the difference, Ramus, from so many traders fail because that's what you have now gained, what you now understand as a trader. And I don't know whether maybe you knew that before working with me, or maybe you've got it from working with me. But once you understand that easy trades come when we're in alignment, you can cut out all the noise. I know I didn't get short today. All right. I know I didn't get short today, but I wasn't looking for a higher time frame pullback. I was looking for the higher time frame pullback to finish to get long. And if anyone's done my course, that will make perfect sense to you. It will make perfect sense to you. All I was looking for today, we can like draw it out. All right, think about what the last few days have looked like. They've looked, I'm going to have to draw this out. And they've looked something like this. You let me draw? Come on, TradingView, let me draw. On the right one, yeah, they've looked something like expansion, and then a little bit inside, and then expansion, and then inside, and then this. I need that message to move so I can see my daily chart. There we go. And then downside, and then this, and then there's the failure, and then this, and then yesterday. Okay, so what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for buys, all right, because the main trend to here was up, all right? So if we think about what we've done on the daily until that point, we've done this, okay? So we're looking for buys. We would really like to see a breakout retest buy. That would be perfect lower time frame. Or what they've done today, a pullback, and for the pullback to finish and a buy. What I don't want to do is try and get that pullback. Timing that is hard because if you're guessing that top, you're probably going to get wrecked. It worked today, but at some point, I promise you it's not going to work. So understanding a higher time frame makes it way easier. Just flattened out that position, by the way, folks. Watching your stream has been the biggest difference in my trading style, no doubt. Hey, nice. All right, well, I added a little bit there. Better than a kick in the bollocks, as we'd say in England. So I flattened that out. Once it couldn't get through PDC, flattened it out. I just had a little tickle on in case it wanted to go. Definitely not touching this now, even though there's a chance that they absorb it yet again down here. I'm not going to touch it anymore for the day. I've had enough attempts, made a little bit of money. I need to be happy with what I've made on a day like today. I tell you what, though, the book just started clearing out a bit there. What happened there at 56 minutes? The books just started clearing out. Other than those big sell orders, it's thinned right out. Here we go. ECB. Inflation dynamics may cause considerable challenges. Monetary policy stance should be neutral. This is coming from Germany as well. Higher bar for gas storage. So that's European Central Bank. Maybe that's enough to clear some liquidity out for a moment. And they'll be going to lunch now anyway. US natural gas futures extend losses, prices down 5% in a volatile trade ahead of June contract expiry. Also just hitting the wire. Knew there was something. If you look at the book map, it just thinned. Like all those players. Remember, all morning I said you just had stacks of like tens everywhere. They all just went, nah, I'm out of here. They've all left. And, well, I mean, there are still some guys, but a lot of them just left. And the main participants left is a buyer at 440 and a seller in front of 75 and a seller at 80. Everyone else vanished. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to vanish. I will take my small wins and call it a day. Actually, one of them is quite a big win because it was on one of my bigger accounts. So one of them locked in 1,400, 480, 340, 4. That'll do. And the others are all flat. Actually, that's a lie. 2 of them are red from last night. I am down on 2 of them. That is a complete lie. They're down $400. I put an overnight trade on and it didn't work out. I was looking for a pullback to be absorbed and go, and I got stopped. No big deal. All right, maybe ES goes back to those 12s. I'm going to call it a day here. Tim V possibly building a right shoulder pattern on the 15, 13, 60-minute charts. After more study, I do understand your IB trade. Thanks for the stream today, Alex. No worries. On the 30-minute, 50-minute, yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. We were talking about this here. It's possible, isn't it? If this was a pullback for them to short into, yes. The problem is your neckline is here. Okay, and your this is higher time frame support structure, as is this. So even if you got this projected trade for a neckline break, is that the right one? I'm gonna have to go fib. No, bear with me. Where's my fib? Is it this one? Yeah. All right, neckline break, projection. Even if you got a 1.5, you're right into support structure before you hit it. It's the tough thing right now. Fading this market right now is very, very tough. Very, very tough. I don't disagree with what you're seeing, but all I'd say is this right here is where we found bids. For me, I wasn't thinking about shorts until we got under and rejected that for a move lower. And even then, this move here is a scalp because it's counter trend. I expect this or this to hold, and really they should have held this morning. They had a chance to do this move and they failed. Once we said, like, if they fail this, we come down and check this. If we fail this, we come down and we check this. So if you're looking for this short here, you need to observe these guys here. These guys here, remember, sweat this liquidity here and bid aggressively off it. These bars here are big bars. That's showing you that this is a big level, all right? It's a big level because we move aggressively away from it. It's a strong demand level, all right? A strong support level, whatever you want to call it, it's strong. We know buyers are hanging out here. They hung out there yesterday before the close, right? And they're hanging out here again today. So just remember that. If you're thinking about a short, we've never broken the higher time frame trend. So even if we build here, the better short would need to break this higher time frame trend. And I'm not convinced about it. I think we want this move here. It's just in a bit of a holding pattern until we get it. Hopefully that makes sense. Just want to save you a bit of a headache. Take care, Ken. No worries, team. Sorry it wasn't a great day. We can't control the market, though. We cannot control the market. All right. You're seeing a reaction off the initial balance and point of control again. Like I said, they keep absorbing. Lower time frame, they keep absorbing. You can see them. They're trying to absorb down here. This is very much like the market we've been in. Just before I go, you have to pay attention to the personality of the market. That's where the buyers were. Yesterday, that's where the buyers were. Sellers had a chance. Okay, yesterday, think about this. How much volume was up here? We broke down. Sellers had a chance here to liquidate hard. They could have come all the way down to here because this is straight up. What happened? They tried. Buyers absorbed. W pattern, upside. Let's think about here. Sellers have a chance for a failed auction to get under here and wash. What happens? Buyers absorb, upside. Let's think about down here. Sellers have a chance to attack these lows here. What happens? Buyers absorb, V-shaped bottom, upside. Buyers are absorbing dips right now. They are absorbing dips in the market. This is a buy the dip market right now. Absolutely buy the dip market, which is why I'm surprised we didn't absolutely wreck these guys up here for this move. But it's Nvidia. We're waiting on Nvidia. So be very careful if you're trying to lean short. Be very, very careful. All right, team. Back tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Thursday. All right, tomorrow might be good. You got FOMC minutes this afternoon. Let's get through that. Make sure nothing, completely out of the norm was said. We've got Nvidia earnings 4:20-ish. From 3:30 to 4:30, this market will get wonky. It will start doing this kind of stuff. Okay, why is it doing that? 0 DTEs on the options chain, including on the NQ, looking for that Nvidia move. All right, so just remember that. They will swipe one way and swipe the other way. The market's job is to make sure everyone loses, especially on earnings season. It will do the best it can to make sure everyone loses. So even if you're playing into close, expect volatility and wonky action. If you're going to stay after the close as you get into Nvidia, expect some violent moves. All right. I know you might be thinking, it's only one stock. It can't move it that much. yeah, you're right if we were in the New York session, but you're outside the New York session, which means there's going to be very, very little volume. So you need less volume to move the market, all right? Which means if there's a misprint or a big print, you might get follow through in Asia tomorrow. Think about that, all right? So for you Asia traders, you might get some follow through the next day. All right. Peace and love, everyone. Please trade safe. Use hard stops. Remember, anything can happen at any point. We don't know what news is coming. Personally, I'll be leaning bullish on this until it proves otherwise. Until tomorrow, take care.